Are y'all so look? Ooh, welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year's. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about, as well as ranking my top 5 fighters based on GOAT potential. And basically taking a deep dive into fighters with the greatest potential to solidify themselves as GOATs within UFC and MMA history by the end of their careers. So, with that being said, without further ado, let's get right in to the video. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so you can help me reach 1,500 subscribers by May. I'll deeply appreciate you. And make sure you join the official UFC Discord, link in the description. Alright, so look, here's how I'm gonna do it. So, first I'm going to start off by going over the fighters' current statuses, like what they've accomplished so far, as well as where they stand at right now in their careers. After that, I'll lay out what their potential resumes could hypothetically look like by the time they're wrapping up their careers and it's time for retirement. But let me remind y'all that this is all strictly my opinion and completely subjective. So, with that being said, let's start it all off with the 5th ranked spot on our list, where I've got the one and only Max Blessed Holloway. And look, I think currently for Max Blessed, he's undoubtedly a top 10, top 15 ranked mixed martial artist of all time. And with the resume he's got, I think it completely goes without saying. With guys like Charles Oliveira, Charles do Bronx, Anthony Showtime Pettis, the King of Rio, Jose Aldo, twice, Brian Ortega, Frankie Edgar, TKZ, Arnold Allen, and let's not forget about Justin the Highlight Gaethje. Not to mention that he's also in the top 10 in my pound for pound rankings. He's a GOAT level boxer and probably has a top 5 resume ever. Max Holloway is just a bona fide legend. But now for his potential resume. And look, with him saying that after the Ilia El Matador fight that he's a permanent resident of the 155-pound division, I think that we can see a lot of fun fights from Max Blessed within the near future. I mean, the man is only 33 years of age and he's got a lot of thread left on the tires, so I'm thinking potentially a Charles Oliveira, Charles do Bronx rematch down the line. A potential Arman Tsarukyan matchup would be super massive as well. And most importantly, if he can rack up a couple ranked wins, I can see a Islam Makhachev versus Max Holloway matchup feeding generations. So, the potential GOAT resume could hypothetically look like Charles Oliveira, Charles do Bronx twice, Anthony Showtime Pettis, Jose Aldo twice, Brian Ortega, Frankie Edgar, TKZ, Arnold Allen, Justin Gaethje, Arman Tsarukyan, and Islam Makhachev, placing Max Blessed Holloway at the 5th ranked spot on my GOAT potential tier list. Now, coming in at the 4th ranked spot on my list, we've got the Energizer Bunny himself, Merab the Machine Dvalishvili. And look, contrary to popular belief, I think that Merab Dvalishvili has probably got a top 15 all-time resume right now, with the likes of Jose Aldo, Petr Yan, Henry frickin' Cejudo, and lastly, Sugar Sean O'Malley on his resume. But you see, the thing is about these wins are that they aren't your typical run-of-the-mill wins, but they were won in absolutely supreme dominant fashion, giving him a supremely high-quality resume. He's a top 2 bantamweight of all time, in the top 4 of my current ranked pound-for-pound fighters, and not to mention his absolute GOAT level pace, volume, and cardio that is quite literally next to none. And now for his potential resume. And look, he's gonna have to first dispose of Umar Nurmagomedov, which I personally think he's gonna do in absolute emphatic fashion come January 18th. And afterward, I see him being a bona fide force within the bantamweight division, taking out a guy like Corey the Sandman Sandhagen for a second title defense, as well as dispatching of both Petr Yan as well as Sugar Sean O'Malley for a second time. And then afterward, once Ilia El Matador inevitably moves up to 155, I can see him making a jump to the featherweight division and taking out guys like both Diego Lopez as well as Khamzat Chimaev. So, the potential resume for Merab Dvalishvili could be Jose Aldo, Petr Yan twice, Henry Cejudo, Sugar Sean O'Malley twice, Umar Nurmagomedov, Corey Sandman Sanhagen, Diego Lopez, and Khamzat Chimaev, placing Merab Dvalishvili at the 4th ranked spot on my GOAT potential tier list. And now, breaking into the top 3 of my GOAT potential tier list, I've got my namesake, Khamzat Chimaev, taking the 3rd spot. And look, y'all, I think this kind of goes without saying, but Khamzat Chimaev is undoubtedly, in my opinion, the greatest pound-for-pound middleweight ever, and I don't care. And like I've said in my previous videos mentioning Khamzat Bors, I believe that this man is an absolute generational talent whose career was hindered by tragic and spontaneous injuries as well as unexplained weight misses. But now that he's gotten all that sorted out and he's healthier than ever before, the entire middleweight division are just lambs to a slaughter for the wolf, and there is no stopping this new and improved Khamzat Chimaev. The man is a GOAT level wrestler that cannot be stopped. A current top 30 all-time mixed martial artist as well as a top 15 pound-for-pound fighter, with wins over guys like Ikram Aliskerov, Li Zhengliang, Gilbert Dorino Burns, Kevin Holland, Kamaru Usman, and Robert the Reaper Whittaker. The man is an absolute force to be reckoned with, as well as a bona fide phenom who cannot be stopped. And so as for his potential resume, I see him mowing through the winner of the Strickland versus Duplessis fight, whether it be Strickland or Dricus. And then afterward, I can see them booking a Caio Borralho and Israel Adesanya matchup where we see Khamzat Bors bulldoze through both of them with relative ease. And then I can see Khamzat Chimaev moving up to the light heavyweight division where we see him dispose of the light heavyweight king Alex Poatan Pereira, as well as the top 3 ranked contenders there as well, such as Jamal Hill, Yuri Prochazka, as well as Magomed Ankalaev. So the potential GOAT resume for Khamzat Chimaev could be Gilbert Burns, Marty from Nebraska, Bobby Knuckles, Dricus Duplessis, Sean Strickland, Caio Borralho, Israel Adesanya, Alex Poatan, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prochazka, and Magomed Ankalaev, placing Khamzat Chimaev at the 3rd ranked spot on my GOAT potential tier list. And now, taking the runner-up spot on my GOAT potential tier list, and I've got the current number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now, Islam Makhachev, at the number 2 spot. And look, y'all, this kind of goes without saying as well, but this man is quite literally the best fighter in the world right now, and there's very little debate. He's a top 3 all-time fighter, as well as a top 2 all-time pound-for-pound fighter. Not to mention he's one of the most well-rounded and skilled fighters ever, with his super elite striking as well as his world-class grappling and wrestling. He's got wins over guys like Arman Tsarukyan, Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, Charles do Bronx, Alexander Volkanovski twice, as well as Dustin the Diamond Poirier. The man is quite literally the textbook definition of pound for pound. And as for his potential resume, he's booked to face off against Arman Tsarukyan for the rematch come January 18th. And while I do have him beating Arman in their upcoming fight on the 18th of January, an Arman Tsarukyan win isn't 100% out of the question. Not at all. It's just that I don't necessarily like his odds. And look, I know Islam Makhachev talks a lot about moving up to the welterweight division and stuff, but after he beats Arman, I believe that the UFC will book the Charles Oliveira rematch, where I think after his fight he had against Michael Chandler, I say Islam Makhachev takes this pretty convincingly this time around again. And after that, depending on if Belal Muhammad is the welterweight champion at the time, we can see Islam Makhachev move up and take out guys like Shit Rat, Marty from Nebraska, and or Jack de la Madalena. So Islam Makhachev's GOAT potential resume could be Arman Tsarukyan twice, Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, Charles Du Bronx twice, Alexander Volkanovski twice, Dustin the Diamond Poirier, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Kamaru Usman, and Jack Della Maddalena, placing Islam Makhachev at the second-ranked spot on my GOAT potential tier list. And now, coming at the first spot on my GOAT potential tier list. And I mean, come on. I think this comes to no surprise, but I've got the one, the only, the undefeated, undisputed Ilia Topuria taking the number one spot on my GOAT potential tier list. And look, man, where do I even start? Ilia Topuria is quite literally a bona fide freak of nature. The man is a GOAT level striker as well as the best boxer in the UFC, a top 15 all-time mixed martial artist as well as a top 5 all-time pound-for-pound fighter. Not to mention, in just 7 months, he managed to obtain the greatest back-to-back wins in UFC history, those being the first ballot Hall of Famers in Alexander the Great Volkanovski as well as Max Blessed Holloway, all at the ripe young age of 27. And look, when you talk about the textbook definition of well-rounded, you get no better representation than Ilia El Matador, with his incredible wrestling and grappling pedigree stemming from his Greco-Roman and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background, not to mention his nasty nuclear KO ability paired with his elite striking game. Dog, I'm sorry. I love Islam Makhachev, but if we're talking about the one with the greatest GOAT potential, this easily goes to Ilia El Topuria, zero difficulty. With wins over guys like Yusuf Zalal, Bryce Mitchell, Josh Emmett, Alexander Volkanovski, and Max Holloway, Ilia Topuria is the one that sits upon the featherweight division and will do so for a very long time. And so, as for his potential future resume, Ilia El Matador did come out with a statement not too long ago saying that he is considering moving up to the lightweight division in the very near future, but was not planning on vacating his 145-pound title whatsoever. And so what I think is going to happen is that he'll face off against Alexander Volkanovski in the rematch, and then like before, Alexander the Great will meet his demise against the Georgian Spaniard. Afterward, we'll see him take on the likes of Diego Lopez, as well as Movsar Evloev, and like Volkanovski before them, they too will be slain by El Matador. After that, I do see the UFC granting Ilia his wish to move up to the lightweight division, where we can see him either face off against contenders like Dustin Diamond or Charles Oliveira, or they just feed Islam to him off rip. Either way, I do see Ilia Topuria beating all three of them and adding them to his potential future GOAT resume. And so Ilia Topuria's GOAT potential resume would go like Yusuf Zalal, Bryce Mitchell, Josh Emmett, Alexander the Great twice, Max Holloway, Diego Lopez, Movsar Evloev, Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and Islam Makhachev. And with a resume like that, I think it goes without saying that Ilia El Matador Topuria is my number one ranked fighter with the most future GOAT potential. But that's all I've got to say for this video. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your guys' thoughts on my rankings for the fighters with the greatest potential for GOAT status? Let me know in the comment section below. But that about wraps up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.